all control. Gravity is all that I know. She's over me. She's over me. She comes me with her hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. The claws in my heart, I can't let go, I'm breaking apart, controlling me. And hello, ladies and gentlemen, how you guys doing? Welcome to the Paranormal Portal Bedtime Stories From Beyond. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and I hope you're having an epic evening. It's been a great day today, busy day, but the good news is our podcast is dropping again tomorrow, so if you haven't already, please make sure to check it out. You can find it on iTunes. I know it's on Spotify. I know it's just all over the place out there. So wherever you find your podcasts, definitely look for the Paranormal Portal and check it out. It's our brand new venture into another another leg of the multimedia journey. I don't know. But it's really cool, and we're really excited. And again, special thanks to Revolver Podcasts for helping us on this endeavor and giving us an amazing platform to work from. It's very, very cool. So, but I hope you guys are all ready because it's time for bed. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is another fine night of the Bedtime Stories. I hope you're having a great evening, and hope it's been a great day again. I already said that once, but I always mean it over and over again. I mean it all the time. So, got some great stories pulled up for you guys tonight. Hopefully, they'll be exciting for you all. I think they're exciting for me, but I hope you guys all agree. And just looking at the chat, lots of people piling in. Hello, everybody that's coming into the show. Great to see you guys. I really appreciate it. Every time I turn on the light, you guys come in. It just makes me feel incredibly fortunate to have such amazing listeners. So thank you so much, guys, for being here and being a part of every show. Again, the call-in board is always open. If you want to call in and be a part of the show, please feel free to. The call-in number for the show is 720. That's 720. I don't know. I kind of threw those all together. 70. It's 720-923-0500. Again, 720-923-0500. And you can call in and be a part of the show and share in the madness that is the Paranormal Portal. So, especially the bedtime stories. And remember, Don will be joining me tomorrow night for some mayhem fun. And I did get that video from Christy, and I'm planning on showcasing that tomorrow as well. So really great video, very amazing catch. I was very impressed. It's the kind of capture you don't see very often, and it's pretty compelling. So I think you guys will enjoy that as well. It's a very short video. It's not real long, but very cool catch. And I'm going to be really looking forward to showing that. That'll be tomorrow night's show, so don't miss it. But let's get to some stories, unless you guys got something else to do. Love that emoticon, lady. That's a whole lot of phones. Sorry, I'm a little froggy again. Burning brush outside during the day. It doesn't matter where you stand. If you're burning brush, it doesn't matter where you stand. That the wind is going to make that crap come right to you. I was just getting smoked. It was like no matter where I walked, it's like the smoke followed me. So I was getting saged like for hours outside. If it was only sage that I was burning, right? But yeah, needless to say, it was a lot of raspberry prunings from years past that we had piled up, and we finally burned them. So it's just kind of our way of celebrating the Beltane. Beltane is an old pagan festival where they celebrate the birth of spring, and Belanos is the god of the sun in pagan lore on May the 1st, which is also my birthday. So I have been getting birthday wishes. Thank you guys. For those of you that send them in early, that's fine. I mean, I'm happy to hear from you guys whenever you choose to reach out. But yeah, tomorrow's actually my birthday, so another year under the belt. And it's like, I don't know what the hell's going on. We talk about time slips on the show many times, and that's a phenomenon where people seem to slip through time, and you kind of skip parts and suddenly you're in a different part, and that's dimensional shifts. It kind of feels like that every year you get older. It's like, it feels like a time slip. It's like, God, it wasn't my birthday just yesterday. Wasn't I just that age? Now I'm this age. So it's incredible how fast time flies. So, but I'm thrilled to be able to spend it with you guys here tonight, or tomorrow night rather. And again, thank you to those early happy birthday wishes. That's really cool. It makes me feel real happy. So let's get to some stories. What do you say? Whoa, that one almost blanked out, but it came back, thank goodness. What the hell is this? I don't know why. I get the strangest ads, and I don't know why. It's very strange. I'm not sure what... This one I don't think is the same thing. I think this one's a clothing deal for women's clothes, but usually when you get those... whenever you're on a web page and you see those blocks and they have that little blue blue arrow up in the upper right corner, those are Google ad networks. So basically people have Google campaigns and they can target their ads to different sites, and sites will sell unused ad space to Google to fill with their ads. And so generally they're targeted based upon your surfing habits, but I've not been surfing for women's clothes. And the other night I had what the hell was it? Some kind of swinger site or something came up. It's like, what? So I don't know what the hell's going on with my ads, but I don't know how to explain it. But anyway, I got the ads for women's clothing now. All right, not that that's paranormal. Maybe it is paranormal though. You just got to think about that. It could be. It's paranormal to me, I'll tell you that. I don't know why the hell I'm getting women's clothing ads. So, all right, let's go to this first story here. And this one's coming out of Florida, ladies and gentlemen. Jesus, it just cracks me up. I don't understand it. All right, I'd like to start out by saying that this isn't my story. It's actually from my mom that told me. But it is true because she was there and it happened to her. Sorry, I got to wipe my eyes. Just lots of smoke in my eyes all day. Ugh. All right. When my mom was younger, she lived with her dad and her stepmom, stepsister, and stepbrother. Her stepmom had a cat, which was an orange cat, which she absolutely loved, Oodles and Caboodles. I can't believe they just made me read that. So I'm on tape now saying Oodles and Caboodles. My mom's job was to keep up with the cat and to make sure he was well. Well, when my aunt, uncle, and mom got home, she couldn't find the cat, and they started freaking out. They looked everywhere but couldn't find the cat. Then somebody knocked on the door of my house, and my family was afraid that it might be their mother and they knew she would be unhappy to come home and find the cat missing. So they prepared to tell her the bad news, and then they went to open the door. My uncle was the one to open it, but they were all standing there so they could all tell her what had happened. And when he opened the door, it wasn't their mother, it was the cat. But the cat was not on the ground where cats usually are when they come up to the door. The cat was floating in the air, as if held by a hand by the scruff of the neck. And all of a sudden, the cat came floating in and was dropped and then ran off. And the ghost thing walked out and eventually shut the door behind him or her. They were a little shaken, but not a lot, since things like that happen to my family all the time. Really? Wow, I'd like to know who the hell this person is. They, him or her, no, it says they decided not to tell my grandmother about it since the cat was home safe and it didn't really need an explanation. I hope you like the story. It's my first submitted one, but it's 100% true. And like I said, things like that happen to my family all the time. So there will be more. Well, that's incredible. I don't even know what to think about that. I got a lot of thoughts crossing my mind. A lot of times, natural places, I don't know the setting of their house, if they lived rurally or in a forest or what, but the only thing that comes to my mind is that there are allegedly nature spirits, which are, for lack of a better term, essentially guardian spirits of areas. They kind of supervise the natural balance of areas and make sure things are in order, for lack of a better term. Perhaps this cat was out hunting little birds and stuff that this spirit was quite fond of. I don't know. I'm just speculating, but if there is indeed nature spirits, and if they are indeed geared towards keeping things in balance and protecting the things in their charge, cats are notorious bird killers. In fact, there's some speculation that there could be endangered species of specific birds due to domesticated cats, through continued years of cats hunting and killing these things successfully. It could really, perhaps irritate a spirit. And, I don't know. I'm just totally reaching out into left field on this one. But if that story is true, that is absolutely incredible. And I can't think of another reason that a spirit would take charge of this animal, carry it in, blatantly carry it in, even though the spirit was invisible, knock on the door, get him to open the door, put the cat inside and shut the door behind it and go back out. So clearly the spirit had no intention of staying. It didn't want to be in the house. It just wanted to return them their cat, get it out of its area is what it seems like. Very strange. I like that story a lot though, because it really hints towards something pretty incredible, but I don't know. I don't know what to make of that one. I do hope it's true. I think that's the kind of story I've never heard before. I mean, you hear so many of the closet door open, the shadow was at my bed, it sat on my bed. And not to say that those are mundane, but they are pretty common. But this is the very first time I've ever heard a story like this, and I got to say it's actually pretty exciting to hear. Now, it's not a new story, and it comes out of Florida, so I don't know. It's just a possibility, I guess. I like that one, though. I like that. I'm going to bookmark that one. That one's cool. I don't ever do that, but again, that's a pretty unique, powerful story. What the hell? There we go. All right, so the next one I'm going to read you is, what do we got? Trolls coming in? What's going on? No trolls here. Looking. Oh, yeah. There's no hater drama here, Nick. You're welcome to share whatever you'd like, brother. We'd love to hear from you. The call board is always open, and there's a call actually waiting for me. So let me get to this. And this is area code 870. You're on the air.
Hi, Brent. It's Virginia.
Hey, Virginia. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
I am doing good. A little nervous. I've been telling everybody in the chat that I was going to call in with a story, but I don't know. It's my first time, so of course, a little nervous.
Oh, that's fine.
So I'm wondering what's your favorite stuff? You like that story? Do you like Bigfoot, aliens, dimensions,
Well,
demons, werewolves? I got all kinds of stories.
I
What do you
love.
want to hear?
Actually, I love all of the above. Any of your stories that you like to share, I'd love to hear.
Okay, there's one I kind of want to tell
Please.
before I forget all the details to it.
Okay, very good.
Um, a little. Okay, go ahead.
Very good. I'm excited to hear it.
Okay. Well, a little background on me. I've been seeing things since I was little. For whatever reason, I never really told anybody,
Hmm.
but until I had kids, and then they started seeing things, and then I was like, okay, now it's time to figure out what's going on because my kids are seeing things and they're seeing scary things. So I really started trying to figure everything out, and I get lots of stuff, lots of information. And so this is one thing I want to share because I find it very interesting for myself. It's something new to me,
Hmm.
and I'm kind of interested in what other people might think about it. So I was listening to recently, I just found out about the 411, missing 411
Oh, sure.
cases with David,
Politis, yeah.
what's his last? Pilatus, yes.
Yep.
So I was watching some of those, and before, like when you hear people are missing or something, if I hear the news, like I might see something,
Uh-huh.
and so I started watching these videos, and I was watching one about a little boy who went missing, and so they found like a shoe or whatever up on the mountaintop. And so everybody's like, okay, well, I'm thinking that could have been Bigfoot. They might have got the little boy.
Hmm.
So the one that really got me was there was a doctor in Colorado, and he was hiking with his friends. And this has been a couple of months, so I can't remember all the details.
Okay.
But he was hiking with his friends, and they all stopped at one resting point, and he wanted to continue on. And he had like a backpack on him, and he had like everything he needed to survive. And
Hmm.
they said he even had an extra cell phone battery, just all kinds of things to survive, and tent, everything. So he went on ahead of the guys a little bit, and some of the people might be familiar with the story. So they were going to meet him at the next spot. And when all his buddies got up there, he was nowhere to be found. They went up and down the mountain. They could not find him anywhere. So I'm like, okay, so what happened to this guy? And all the reports said there was snow everywhere. There was no tracks. So this wasn't one like Bigfoot could just snatch him.
Right.
And I think the guy was missing for like 21 days. And then they found him like he would have had to cross this big mountaintop with huge snow drifts. But, they said they had helicopters. They had everything. There was no tracks. The guy just disappeared,
Hmm.
and he shows up 21 days later on another mountainside. Are you familiar with that story?
I've listened to dozens and dozens of them, and it does sound familiar, but I can't certainly
Okay.
place this one for sure. But go ahead.
Okay. So I was like, okay, how is this possible? Because I think he had like his boots were missing, his clothes were missing, but he had like his long johns on. There was only a few things missing. He had his backpack, everything, and he had some, I think, head damage. And so that really bothered me. I was like, I have to know what is going on with this guy.
Right.
What happened to him?
Uh-huh.
And so what I do, everybody has their own way of meditating, and I like to take a hot bath at night, put some Epsom salt in there and just relax. And so I ask the spirits like all the time,
Hmm.
like, what do y'all got to show me today? So this time I wanted to know what happened to this guy. So this is where it gets interesting. I'm relaxing, and I start seeing something, and I know everybody's going to freak out on this because I did. Okay, so it looks like I'm going through a hole. Now, I know I'm in a bathtub, yeah, but in my visions, I had clothes on.
Sure.
So So, okay, so I'm going through this hole, and I've heard about other dimensions. So it's like I'm going through this hole in the sky. It's like I'm crawling up through it, and I pull myself up, and I stand up, and I'm looking around, and it's just beautiful. It's green. It's warm. I could hear birds singing, and I'm just standing there in this grassy place, and it looks like I'm not on the edge, but it looks like I'm up high, and like there must be like a valley or something down in there because I can see way over on the other side, and there's a waterfall over there. And I hear this loud noise, like a bird, like screech really loud. And all of a sudden, I say, Jurassic Park. And and then I can hear my dog. I have a dog that's with me all the time. And I can hear her, and I'm like, and so I turn, and I see this hole, and it's just kind of where I came out of, and it's just kind of moving, around. So I dive back through it, and I'm out in my yard. My dog's there, and she's trying to get to me. And I'm trying to come out of this hole. And I see, creepy. I'm not able to come out of this hole. It's like these vines start wrapping around my legs, my ankles. And the vines turn into like long, skinny fingers. And they're trying to pull me back in. And I grab a hold of something I have out here in my yard. I mean, this is all seems so real. And I grab a hold, and I pull myself out of there.
Okay.
And then I just kind of wake up like, okay, what the heck was that? What did I just see? What did I experience?
Right.
And that was intense.
Yeah, that's very intense. Wow.
Yeah.
So that's what you got as a message to what he experienced. That's really powerful.
Yeah, I guess I need to be a little more careful about what I ask for, right? So
yeah, that's the old adage, right?
So I said, yeah. So I asked again. I'm like, okay. So that's pretty wild there. So what happened to the guy that disappeared on the mountain? So I close my eyes again, and I see this guy, and he's just walking, and I see snow everywhere, and he's just walking on the trail, and there's like a big circle moving, and you can see through it. You can see the sky through it, and it's just moving around. It kind of goes like if you were to throw a rock in a lake, how it just ripples around.
Sure.
That's just kind of what it looked like. And so the guy, he's just walking. He's, going up the trail, and he's looking where he's walking, and he kind of just walks into this, I'm going to say it's a dimension.
Right.
And it just sucks him in.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, that makes sense. So how did he come out of there? I am like, I didn't see anything about him,
right,
but I just see the guy falling out of the sky.
Wow.
Like literally, that's the next vision I have is the guy is falling out of the sky.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, okay, well, that kind of would make a little bit of sense if that's what happened to him.
So what happened to his boots, do you suppose, and his clothes?
I don't know. All I can do is think about whatever that was that's trying to hold me in there.
Right.
Those vines grabbed a hold of my feet, and they turned into like long fingers.
Okay. Wow. That's very interesting.
So I didn't, very interesting.
Wow.
I didn't want to miss any of this by not telling someone. I mean, I did tell my friend. She's like, oh, you were just dreaming. I was like, who dreams like that? I specifically asked what happened to this guy, and that's what I saw.
Yeah.
And I also kind of asked again, like, what was that place where I was? Because I don't know if I thought that I heard a pterodactyl or what I heard, but it was weird. I mean,
Yeah.
I yelled Jurassic Park, and so I kind of visualized again, like, where was I?
Mm-hmm.
And when I visualized it again, I saw a UFO up there.
Oh, okay.
So, so now it's even creepier.
Yeah, that's all kinds of creepy. And you got to wonder, I've often believed that there are natural portals that just happen. And because there's so many weird experiences of people slipping into other dimensions and seeing historical events and seeing cities that don't exist and just a bunch of strange things like that. So my theory is that there's constantly an opening and closing of these portals everywhere, and just sometimes these people just happen into them. And perhaps that's why the UFO is there, because maybe they're aware of these things happening, and we're just watching what was going on. I don't know. It's just with the paranormal, there are no definites. I mean, anything is just as possible as the next. So even though that may seem strange to somebody on the outside looking in, I'm here to tell you, this stuff defies explanation. It defies our current
Hmm.
understanding of the universe, and it just keeps opening new possibilities.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, well, it definitely made sense to me. There's no tracks anywhere. The guy
Hmm.
just disappears, and that's what I saw.
Well, that's really powerful. Very cool. So you said you
Yeah.
had
I
other ones too, huh?
Go ahead.
You said you had other stories as well.
Yes, I got plenty of stories. But since we're talking about dimensions, I'll talk about this.
Okay.
I had asked, I have a loved one, a spirit in heaven that I talk to a lot. They help me, so I guess you could say like a spirit guide. So
Hmm.
I was asking one day, I was like, okay, I believe in Bigfoot, I always have, but how, everybody wants to know, how come nobody can find them, or, they just show up and then they disappear and whatever.
Hmm.
And so I was told that they can disappear into other dimensions.
Mm. Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know about that, because I didn't really know about dimensions at the time. I didn't really know. Only thing I'd ever read about dimensions was somebody up in on the Appalachian Trail in Tennessee talking about they lost their friend up there that went to the bathroom, and then the friend ended up going into some dimension where there was a bunch of fairies. And
Mm.
that's like the only story I'd really ever heard about, someone happening up into another dimension.
Sure.
And so when I heard about Bigfoot can disappear into dimensions, I don't know, I kind of didn't want to believe it. I was like,
Right.
no, I believe it's a true, animal, whatever it is.
Hmm.
But I don't know. There's a lot we don't know. So
There is, and
very well could be possible.
and even in that case, so let's take my hypothesis that there's these naturally occurring portals that just happen in our world. Perhaps they're just able to see them and can utilize them to come and go through those gateways. I mean, that's certainly a possibility.
That's what I've come to believe as well.
Mm.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
that's
And I don't know that they all can.
hmm.
I just, yeah, I don't know. I wish I did. I
I
could ask
know.
my spirit friends, I guess, some more questions.
Uh,
Yeah.
that's the part about the
So,
paranormal. Again, though, it doesn't really, it doesn't lend itself to normal study. So,
mm,
we just don't know, and these things happen that are so far out of our paradigm, and it's really hard to wrap your head around. But something's going on. Something continues to happen because so many people come forward with these fantastic stories of things that have happened to them, and if we just use traditional physics, we hit a wall. It just can't get to that point where it would make sense of that. So I think that as we learn more about quantum mechanics and quantum physics and dimensional realities and stuff, it'll probably someday be very easily explained. But as of now, it's still in the realm of magic and wonder. you know.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I do have many more stories, but I don't know what exactly to follow up with that one with. Well, we can talk about this. I've seen a lot of weird things at graveyards before.
Oh.
I kind of got to the point where I'm like, I'm not going to any more graveyards because these creepy things want to follow me home. But years, yeah, and I always try. Like I was asking Deborah and Diane the other night, like, what can I take with me to help protect me even more to keep things from following me home?
Mm-hmm.
But we had in a town I used to live in. I had thought about doing ghost tours. They were trying to get tourists to come to that town, so they kind of talked to me about maybe doing ghost tours. Mm-hmm. And so they're like, "Hey, why don't you go check out this old church and the old graveyard?" And this was down in Georgia, and it was a place that had a whole lot of the moss hanging from the trees. That and that's normally in Georgia right there. They wouldn't have that, but they said that there was a train that used to bring oranges up there, and that's how the moss got in those trees. So it was a creepy graveyard, really creepy. So I went out there in the day with some of my friends just to check it out and see if we, saw any ghosts, which of course I did. And so I went back another daytime, and I took another friend with me, and I think she was like Puerto Rican maybe. Mm-hmm. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't even tell this, but I'm going to. All of a sudden, she had dark hair, and she wore it kind of slicked back, and she did kind of look like a colored person, mm-hmm. but not really. Okay. Well, anyhow, we're out there in the middle of the day, daytime now, and all of a sudden, a KKK guy, ghost, shows up.
Oh, my God.
A ghost, yes. And so I'm like, you need to just go on, Yeah. I don't know if he thought she was a black person or what, but that was scary. That was very scary.
Right.
And, I mean, there's enough scary things out there to start with without someone like that, that could possibly try to do harm to someone. Mm-hmm. So a bunch of people, we all decided to go out there at nighttime. And I knew there was ghosts out there. So I had some holy water with me, and I put it in a little spray bottle. I was like, for some reason, I just felt like I needed to have that. And I had an EMF detector thing, and I was telling my friends, like, I don't even know if this thing works, but I had one friend had a camera, the other friend had that, and there was several other people with us. And so we go out there at night, and all of a sudden, we're walking around out there, and of course, the EMF thing's going off, and I think you can get apps for your phones, too, and some of the people had those. But with me being able to see things, and a lot of times things I don't want to see, all of a sudden, this thing showed up right in my face. I mean, almost nose to nose, and it was super fast. And it literally looked like a werewolf.
Wow.
It really did.
Uh-huh.
It was like a skinny-looking, almost like a person's body, but like a werewolf head. It was just really like it stood like a person. And it just was in my face really quick. And I didn't have time to tell anybody. I was just like, grabbed my holy water and started spraying it and, telling it to get away from me. And it kind of looked like it was in my face, trying to see if I could see it. I have ghosts and things do me that way. Like, can you see me? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yes, I can see you, And so I had another guy that was like, started praying and everything. He didn't know what was going on. I didn't have time to tell anybody, but he knew something was going on. And so that thing just runs back off to the woods as fast as it could.
Wow.
And so there was all kinds of weird stuff started coming like out of the woods. Okay. And I just told him to stay back. And when I was there in the daytime, I had located there was a couple little kids there, and there was people talk about ladies in white all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple of those. One was kind of weird and wanted to hide in the woods, but there was another one that I just felt like she died and they buried her in that, like a long white dress or something. She
Sure.
didn't seem mean or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually talked to her quite a bit and used the EMF to, like, she would make it go off. And I was like, I guess that thing is, because I'm talking to her and the thing's going off when she's doing it. So I was like, well, I guess that thing does work.
Yeah.
And, so talked to her for a little while, and then everybody's like, okay, well, let's go. And so we all start to leave. Well, the ones that was with me was like, hey, let's go back, because there was the old church there, and we knew it had, like, haunted too. But so they had talked me into turning around and going back. Mm-hmm. So we start going back down there, and before we even get to the first part of the graveyard there, close to the church where you would turn in, I start seeing even creepier stuff coming towards us, like it was waiting for us. And I saw, everybody I know is thinking I'm plumb lost it by now, but that's okay.
Oh, no, you're in the right place.
So
believe me, you're in the right place.
Good. Okay, so I saw what someone would call like a lizard man.
Oh, wow.
Literally a green-looking, weird lizard-looking thing started coming towards us across that graveyard. And I turned my truck around as fast as I could, and the thing was chasing me down the road.
Wow. Now,
yes.
Now is this a psychic vision or a physical vision?
Psychic vision. Nobody else could see it.
Okay.
They believe me.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I could see it. They couldn't see it, but I saw lots of things.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Things I didn't expect. I didn't expect lizard men and werewolves, and I just thought I was going to find some ghosts,
Right. Now, what part of the country are you in? Where are you?
That was down in Georgia.
Georgia. Okay. Yep. There's a lot.
That was in Georgia. I'm not in Georgia anymore, but that was in Georgia. Mm-hmm.
Wow. There's a lot of, the South is really rich in a pretty profound paranormal history. So that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on coming across them things. Luckily, they didn't harm us or anything. The werewolf thing, I just get out of my face. Yes, I can see you. And, the other guy started praying and everything, and it just ran off. Wow. So, I mean, I stand my ground, though. Mm-hmm. I don't.
Which is good.
I don't.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I was telling them on chat the other night when I was asking about a stone or something, that I need to carry with me for protection, because just here recently, I went to help out someone in their shop as a spiritual advisor, and I just came across her, and I mean, there is no coincidences. Everything happens for a reason. So I just kept kind of coming across this person, and a friend of mine knew her, and so the spirits told me that I needed to help her, and I said, well, okay, but she don't know that I can see crazy things,
Right.
And they were like, it's okay, but she needs your help. And so as soon as I agreed to it, all of this information just started coming to me. And so I started writing it down, everything I need to tell her. So I called her up and told her just flat out that, I was told to help her. Mm-hmm. She's like, thank you. I need some help. So she was just open arms, come on. Right. And so we get there, and she says that she caught a little girl ghost on their security camera. And so she's telling me about this, and she started telling me that because as soon as we went in the door, I just started feeling some kind of really bad vibes, and I couldn't really figure out what it was. I literally had to go back outside and just try to, I don't know, just shake it off and try to focus a little bit better when I went on back in to see what was going on. And anyhow, that I'll tell you real quick. It turned out I kept getting pulled to this corner. Well, she had just bought a big shelving unit, and it was like really old, and that's where that bad energy was coming from. Was from that thing.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
So anyhow, yeah, I was drawn over there, and I even asked her. I said, "Do you get anything antique? Do you have anything antique?" And I really wasn't focusing on that big shelf. I thought it might have been something small, but I guess I should have, with all the energy that was coming off of it. But yeah, it was that big old shelving unit, and it was old. I don't know if it was antique, but it was old.
Right.
So she's telling me about this little girl, and so as she's telling me, well, I just see the little girl standing there. And I'm like, well, she's here right now. And they're like, oh, my gosh, where's she at? And I'm like, right where you said you saw her on the camera, And so she's trying to figure out, well, is this somebody I knew in the past or whatever? And, I really couldn't get a lot of information. But, again, my friend was with me, and she had my EMF thing, and that was her first time using it. And that thing was just going off like crazy, too.
Wow.
And so we started talking to there was like ghosts or spirits coming in through there. And I was able to talk to some of them. They were actually making that little thing go off, And so I go ahead and go home. And this wasn't very long ago. It was like a full moon. A month or so ago, it was a kind of a special full moon, the spring full moon.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
right at spring full moon. Yes, that was the day. And so that night, I want to go out and stand in front of the full moon before I go to bed, and just kind of ground myself and just kind of do a cleansing after the day. And I walk out across my front porch. And I just happened to glance behind me, and at my door is two ghosts.
Jeez.
And I was not happy about that at all. I was not very happy at all. And they seemed to be like two younger guys. And I don't know, it just caught me I was just kind of put me in a bad mood there. And I said, I did not ask y'all to come here. I don't know why you're here, but you're not staying here, and you dang sure ain't going in my house. And so I was just, I know, right? I was just kind of aggravated about it because I just get tired of them following me home. And so, and I may have to go back and tell another story to add along with this one. But so I tell them, so what I do is when I come across spirits, the majority of time, if I am in a graveyard or something like that, wherever I'm at, if there is a ghost that comes around me, I usually always ask them why they didn't cross over, and I ask them, do they want to, and I always ask the angels to come and get them.
Oh, good.
And
good.
So, yeah, yeah, and so I wouldn't do very good having a ghost tour because I help all the ghosts cross over. There would be none left to scare anybody.
That's good, though. I think that's awesome.
But,
when you have those gifts, I think it's really powerful, and it's important because if these things really are stuck, what a horrible existence that is. They just need the help. So, while it may remove some entertainment value for some other people, I think that's the right thing to do. So good for you.
Yeah, that's what I do. That's what I always do. But I was a little frustrated with these two guys that followed me home, and I don't know if they were trying to sneak in my house while I was outside or what, but I didn't like it. So I told them, I said, y'all need to go on to heaven. I didn't even ask them if they wanted to. I was like, y'all just need to go on. I'm going to call angels to come and get y'all. And I don't know why. It just caught me wrong. I'm normally not that way, but
sure.
Just was a little not happy with them. And so they said, well, maybe we don't want to go. And I said, well, either you're going there Well, I had told him, I said, look, let God judge you. You go on up there and let God judge you. I don't have to know your story. I don't need to know anything. Just let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked the angels to come and get them, and the angels showed up. Well, they kind of was resisting the angels. And I said, listen here, either you'll go with the angels or the Grim Reapers will come and get you. It don't matter to me, but you're not staying here. And so I don't know if they saw something coming to get them,
Mm-hmm.
but they real quick decided to go with the angels. Real quick.
Oh,
So
I understand. Given the choice, that's the better option. Yeah.
Yeah, I've learned over the time that dealing with different ghosts, they're just like people. There's some nice ones and there's some that's not so nice. So
Sure.
I don't know. Is it time for me to quit talking, or do I need to keep going?
Well, we do have another call, so I'd like to get to that. But I really, really enjoyed hearing from you, and I hope you call in again with some more of this, because you've got some amazing and fascinating stories, and I'd like to hear more.
All right, then I will.
All right,
That's
my lady.
awesome. Okay.
Thank you so much for being a part of the show.
All right.
Okay, see you now.
Bye.
All right, that was awesome. Wonderful to hear from Virginia. Very cool. And we got another call on the board here, so let's see who it is. This is area code 580. You're on the air. I think that's an 8. Yeah. Hello?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How you doing? Is this Nick?
Yes, this is.
Oh, welcome to the show, brother. Thanks for being here.
Okay, hang on. Let me see if I can take this off the speaker. I was waiting.
Oh.
My wife's going to get it now. Okay, now can you hear me?
Yep, can hear you great. Thank you.
Is that better? Okay, good.
Yep, you're wonderful.
No, this is my first time to even see the show.
Oh, very cool.
So I need to turn the volume off the computer because it's like a 5-second delay. I was having to turn the speaker off. So anyway, I was listening, and I have quite a few stories, I guess. And one of them hit me while I was sitting and listening to Virginia.
Oh, wonderful.
About one that, well, I guess I have to start with the beginning of it. My wife and I were mediums. She can see but can't hear.
Uh-huh.
I can hear but can't see. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Absolutely. Yep.
And so we kind of make a team, and we work with them when we can. And we had one time one that talked to us, and I asked her about what's it like to be where she is.
Uh-huh.
What's it like to be, I guess, we call it in the gray.
Okay.
I know a lot of people have different names for it. It's a spiritual realm. But many of the ones we've helped called a gray. There's light at times, there's darkness at times, and it's a blur of lights. And so we asked her to explain it to her, and what I do, I write down everything they say.
It's in the spiritual realm.
Oh, sure. Okay.
And so what I did, I wrote this down, so I thought I would share her story about what it was like for her in the gray.
Oh, please. Yeah.
And so, okay, yeah, no, you got it perfect. Let me sit where you are so I can read. Okay, this is what, and like I said, I wrote everything she said word for word.
Uh-huh.
And so you have to look at this as coming from her point of view.
Okay.
She said, growing up, you never really think about being dead. I mean, we've all seen horror movies of ghosts who come back to haunt, of course. We've all heard stories, bumps in the night, the rattling of chains, possessions, having your knee grabbed at the same time there was a really loud boo at the campfire to tell into the story about a bloody hand of a murderer creeping and crawling through the woods looking for victims. Mm-hmm. And yes, I'm still mad at that jerk Michael for that one. And she wanted to say most people have seen blurry pictures of apparitions faintly shimmering at the top of staircases in abandoned old houses. Everyone has heard some kind of moan. Everyone has heard some kind of groan. Everyone has some kind of story.
Mm-hmm.
Then she says, but have you ever really thought about what it would like to actually be dead? I have to admit, I never did. I was raised to believe that if you die, you go to heaven or you go to hell. That was that. There was no in between. If God said you were good, you went up. You got your wings, you got your halo, you got your heart. You spend eternity singing songs and walking on streets of soft gold and swishing in and out of the clouds. Mm-hmm. If God said you were bad, you went down. The devil throws you in a lake of fire, and his demons stand around the edge of it, laughing hysterically, while stabbing people with pitchforks whenever they try to get out. You live out eternity hearing screams of pain and torment, including your own. Well, there's a lot more to it, let me tell you. To be able to say, this is an entire world that no one sees. It's hard to explain, but explain I will try. There is darkness, of course, dark lights like mirages, moving, swirling, touching, wrapping around you, dark colors that become a part of you, a part of who you are. There is light, too, of course, different than the light we know with the eyes we see, reflections more than anything, wisp here and there, always moving, wrapping around you, swirling in front of you and then vanishing. They zoom in, they zoom out, they fade, they brighten, they'll frighten you, they'll tighten around you, and they'll entice you. I don't feel they are actual colors, though. They are more, maybe other spirits at times. I can feel the presence of others, but not always. I can hear the whispers, I can hear the sighs, their pleas, and their wishes. The lights seem to have emotions, too. Certain lights will swirl by in a heavy swoosh, and sadness will overwhelm me. Other lights will bring back memories, my own memories. You are not in control over your memories in this world. They come as if they have a life of their own. Sometimes I can go forever without them coming to me. Other times they seem to swallow me whole and play in some kind of continuous reel over and over. You lose track of time when those kinds of lights present themselves to you. Don't get me wrong, though. There are good lights as well. Some make me happy and excited. Children seem to bring those, if that makes sense. You can actually feel the innocence of children in here. And at those times, this is a wonderful place. It's peace, it's harmony. Their laughter, I love their laughter. Of course, I don't know where the laughter comes from. It simply exists. Whether it is from those on the outside or others that are here with me, I don't know. I believe there are two sources, however, two different places where they come from, but I never truly know if it's from a spiritual direction or a human in nature, but I really don't care either way. I simply love the feeling of warmth that washes over me. Empathy is extremely strong here in this place of gray, is what I've learned to call it. Mm-hmm. Like I said, the colors and the sounds all seem to carry with them emotions, sadness, happiness, excitement. You have no choice but to feel them either. When they pass by, you feel. When there are no colors or sounds, though, you feel nothing. You have no choice. I have tried to feel my own emotions before, but I don't seem to have any. I only have what is forced upon me. Forced on me by whatever passes beside me or over me or through me. Even reliving the bad things in my life, or reliving my death, or reliving my childhood, or reliving memories of anything for that matter, I don't always get the choice of what feelings come through. Or at least I don't think I get a choice. It seems whatever images cross through my thoughts, I am only reliving the events, not the feelings. Isn't that crazy? I can't feel all of their emotions, but I can feel all of their emotions, but not my own. Or are they mine? I guess I can't really answer that one. Wow. I just know the feelings aren't the ones I wish to feel anyway. I cannot block anything. It is a moment when I was happy, then happy is all I felt. I cannot dwell and change the images. I cannot dwell and change the emotions. I cannot bring feelings, emotions, and thoughts up on my own when I am deeper in the gray. If I have a memory of my mother, I only remember the emotion from that moment. I cannot dwell on it as if I had control. I cannot remember a birthday or a specific moment in detail, but simply the idea of that moment, the feeling of it I had at that time. I can't remember where Uncle Bob was sitting, or the day that Aunt Susan drank too much, or which birthday cousin Louis showed up on his acid trip, or anything like that. I remember things like the cake, but not the color, the flicker of the candles, but not the faces around me. The flash of the cameras, but not who was taking the picture. Oh, and of course, there are different levels of gray. Oh my, talk about something hard to explain. Why is it called gray anyway? I'm not sure really. I guess because if you concentrate on the colors, after a while, in the midst of the blurs and swirls, the mixture seems gray. But it is never gray for long. It usually goes more yellow before those times of feeling good. Darker at the times that are not. Never truly gray, though, and not for long. At times I get bits and pieces and flashes of light from the world where I used to live, too. That's always fascinating. When I focus, and I mean truly focus, I see certain things clear, but not everything. They become memory flashes in a way. I see a book, and the book becomes a memory, and it fades away. I see a cup, and the cup becomes a memory before it fades. And then after a while, I will not remember the memories of them, but I know they were there. I can sense them. Oh, and I can hear the memories too. Even if I don't always see them, I can hear the voices of my mother, or my second grade teacher, or my dog barking, the laughter of the guy who killed me, things like that. They all blend together. Time is strange here too. No minutes, no seconds, no hours or days, no weeks. Just a continuous stream of nothing at times, followed by long moments of everything. Consciousness, then the unconsciousness. I fade in, I fade out, more noises, more blurs, more lights, more feelings, more nothing. And that was the end of it.
Wow.
That's all I got from her.
That is amazing. And it's so tragic at the same time, you know?
Yeah.
That's hard.
And so I just felt she wanted to get that out there, and so she gave it to me, and I felt this was my time to get those words out there.
It's really cool, and my heart aches for this soul that's in this strange condition. It's certainly.
Well, we ended up helping her.
Oh, good. So please tell me.
Yeah, it took about 2 weeks, but we ended up helping her finally. And I'm not sure where home is. You know, everybody has their own opinion of where home is, but
sure.
We helped her. We helped her get home, and so she's wherever she was supposed to go.
Okay, so she was in a limbo state of some kind, then, eh?
Yeah, that's all we could figure out. She was just, and we're thinking maybe most of, because we've kind of asked the other ones, and it seems like a lot of them are in that kind of state of mind, that kind of realm.
Oh.
Between heaven and
yeah, it's a spiritual realm between heaven and hell.
Okay.
on earth. You're in the gray, and you.
So that would be an earthbound spirit then.
Before you cross over.
Okay.
Excuse me?
So that would be like an earthbound.
Do what?
An earthbound spirit would be experiencing
an earthbound spirit, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's our interpretation of it. We call it the gray.
Sure.
It's a space between heaven and earth, and this is where they seem to get stuck. And they usually seem to get stuck on objects of some sort.
Okay.
It's too much to explain at once, but that it's that's just I just feel like I needed to share that story. So
well, I'm really
I know it's choppy, and I know, and I'm nervous because I've never done anything like this before.
No, first of all, you did brilliantly. I loved it, and I'm just honored that you chose to share it here. And it's really making my head spin because, I've often wondered what is. I do believe that we go on, that we're not just stuck, but there are certainly spirits that get stuck, and I try to conceptualize what would that be, what would that madness be like, and you just narrated it.
Yes, and that's kind of what I was getting at when I was trying to talk to her, and she finally, and I actually talked to her a couple of days to see if we worked with her, because they only have so much energy, they can only kind of communicate for so long, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
And then they do well, and it's, my wife and I call it going to sleep. They run out of energy, and then 5, 6, 7 hours, or maybe a day later, they're here again.
Wow.
And so we just call it going to sleep. These are our terms. There's no, there's no technical terms for this stuff.
Yeah.
This is just the things that we've tagged to what we would, how our human brains can, understand it.
Right. No, honestly.
So it took a while. I think it took almost 3 days just to get that written from her.
Wow, that is so powerful, and it makes things.
Yeah, and
It finally makes that make sense to me, because I've heard from other psychics that, a lot of times these spirits are dormant that are earthbound, and you exactly explain that from that perspective, and so I understand that, like what that means. What does dormant mean? Well, it means just fading out and then coming in, fading in, and you said the fading out.
yeah, and we call it energy. To be honest, we have a couple with us right now that we're trying to help, but right now they're not talking to us. They're outside in this storm, sitting on top of a house across the street from us, enjoying the rain,
Right.
enjoying the light. And they said the energy is so powerful, and they didn't want to talk to us. And so they're out there right now. I know we sound crazy, but
No, I totally get it. We've got several psychics that are attached to the show, and they've said essentially a lot of the same things you're saying. So if anything, it's just reinforcing messaging for me that I'm hearing it now from a whole new source, and that
yeah,
I think
and this is new to me. I and my wife, we grew up believing, but I didn't start hearing until I hit 40.
Oh, okay.
And she didn't really start seeing until she hit 40.
Oh, neat.
And so that's really, kind of wow, but we started working on meditation, started working on eating right and getting healthy, and that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
And, but it's just a whole different world.
Right. That is.
And, but
really,
anyway, I just wanted to share that story. She gave it to me almost 2 years ago now.
wow.
And I just never knew. I was going to send it to Paranormal Magazine, and they wanted it.
Uh-huh.
And but I just never did. I didn't know where to get any. I don't know how to explain it. Why I did. Probably nervousness.
Well,
You always worry about what people think.
Well, I'm telling you, I think that I'm absolutely honored that you chose to share it here. Thank you so much. That is so cool, and I'd love to hear more from you. I mean, if you want to call in, whenever you want to call in, we'd love to hear from you.
Oh, okay. I got plenty. I even had one. I guess it was almost one of the very first one. Her name was Penelope, and she was stuck here because everybody thought her dad was an evil person because her dad killed her. And it turned out he was having PTSD moment, and he was from Vietnam, and this is back into the 70s. That's how long she had been attached. And she gave me a whole story. Well, I didn't, not exactly. I kind of piece it together as she was explaining it, or as she's basically showing it to me.
Okay.
But that's a heart-wrenching one as well.
Yeah.
They're all heart-wrenching, of course.
Sure. Wow.
But anyway, yeah, like I said, I got tons of them. But
well, we have.
I'm glad I found this place.
We have a show 7 nights a week, brother. So anytime you feel compelled to share more, please call in. I'd be absolutely honored to hear from you again.
Oh, hey, all right, no problem. I appreciate it. Thanks for listening to her story.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Nick, for calling in, and hopefully we'll be in touch.
All right, thank you. Y'all have a good night.
All right, good night.
All right.
That is so cool. I mean, that story, both of those calls were amazing. Thank you both, Virginia and Nick, for calling in and sharing those insights, because that's so powerful. That is so powerful. And it really connected a lot of dots for me. And that's my stance about this. When you guys participate, when you share, I always glean so much out of those experiences. So I'm truly honored. I can't tell you how much I appreciate those things. So thank you guys for being a part of the show and for helping us understand some insights into some really curious phenomena. So, but that brings us past the hour mark, ladies and gentlemen. So I guess that's what we're going to call it a night. But I love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. And remember to check out the Paranormal Portal podcast. The second episode's dropping tomorrow. So if you're on iTunes, Pandora, Spotify, Google Play, wherever you get your podcast from, please check it out and subscribe. It will really help us out to get some traction in the podcast verse. I don't know, in the podcast world anyway. So thank you guys. Have a wonderful night and sweet dreams.